They have nice. They have the chair.
They went to the
Master.
Hi. I miss you. No, he didn't see it. He didn't see it. Oh, yeah. But he see the recording. Yesterday.
Morning.
Oh, the teacher. The teacher. The one that. Oh, yeah.
It seems like, because I do all my practices, I almost like 3 or 4 hours a day.
And then he tells me you don't have time to do other stuff. I say, you do that, you never have time to do nothing.
Hi.
There's something else down there?
I'll take it. Do you need it? I want it. It fell down the parking part. Can you send that? Can you send the headphones? Thank you. Is that here? I don't know how. Just do it for Gina, how that's
Could you do it for her? She can manage.
until I achieve enlightenment, by the power of goodness, by the by practicing giving and the other actions, may I become Buddha, the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from their happiness. May all sentient beings dwell in equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from their happiness. May all sentient beings dwell in equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from their happiness. May all sentient beings dwell in equanimity, free from hatred and attachment.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, in our Tuesday class here, we always have a 3 parts here. The first part, I ask you to develop a positive motivation, then I have other thoughts on it. And the second part of our Tuesday gathering here is share things on open subject matter. So whatever subject matter or whatever thought that you have, you can share with us, we can share each other. We can continue to do that. And then the third or last part of our gathering here on Tuesday, we meditate together. We do guided meditation practice. Of course, on that also the topic is also open. And last Tuesday, we meditate on what? Do you remember?
Non-virtues.
Yeah, we meditate on developing understanding of non-virtues and try to develop the mind that wish to, stop or abandoning doing any of 10 non-virtues, right? Yes. Okay, so we will follow that again. In the topic, it's again open about meditation. So if you have any topic that you would like to meditate today, we can bring up that, we can use that topic to meditate on it. Okay, so let's begin with first part, motivation. So I will always like to ask you to please, as you come here, as we all gather here, to initiate each other, to listen these teachings on training our mind into positive. So please do that with a really positive motivation. Listen with a positive motivation of compassion, motivation of loving kindness, motivation of the bodhicitta, right? That's our motivation. And at the same time, I always begin to, not only that, also I always ask you to have a positive motivation beginning of your day. Means really develop positive motivation at the beginning of your day. When you get up in the morning, you open your eyes, you're awake now, maybe not fully, but again, your thought is already already started. Your mind is already functioning. Your mind is already start to think this and that. Maybe nice things, maybe not that nice. So speaking about that here, it's really, really helpful to you get up with a really, really positive motivation and with your intention, with your effort. And so that's why in mind-training teachings, given by the Buddhas and other teachers, other great meditators, always encourage people to start your day with a really positive motivation. Of course, there are a number of different reasons, but of course, one of the main reason is to really become every activities to become more positive. Anyway, so that's the one thing that I always ask. And at the same time, I also ask you to really carry that positive motivation throughout your day by recalling, by remembering. It is also essential in mind-training practice, in meditation practice. And also, so here, as our day spend, we continue to do what we have to do in our daily life. No needs to be changed. Taking care of things that we have to take. The things that we have to take care of. Also working with where I work. But do all of those things that we can do with really holding or carrying the positive motivation, like compassion and loving kindness in our mind, please. So all it means is I have these positive motivation in my mind. I'm ready to use those positive motivations whenever I need it, whenever I face difficult situation, especially when I face difficult situation, I must remember to use the positive motivation to respond to that situation. And then very last, very end of the day, end of your day, before you go to bed, this is also what mind-training teaches us to really dedicate the virtues that you have collected today to all the good deeds that you have collected today. Really dedicate for every other sentient beings. So at the same time, in teaching also instructed us to think about what activities that I have performed today, how many negative actions that I have performed today, how many positive actions that I have performed today. If I can count all the negative actions that I have done today, such as developing maybe some anger, maybe not. However, any of negative action that I have accumulated today, really remember them and feel sorry of doing it, and wish I will stop. I will try my best not to do them again. And also recall the good deeds that you have performed today, and gather all of them in your mind, and then really feel happy and rejoice about it. Not to feel pride, just to feel happy, and then really wish that I myself, as well as all other sentient beings, may able to do that. And then dedicate all the virtues that you have gathered to other sentient beings, by saying, may all these virtues and merit become causes and conditions for everyone to achieve full enlightenment, liberation. May this virtue will bring all the favorable conditions to fulfill their wishes. May these virtues will bring freedom, free from unfavorable condition to fulfill their wishes. So please, dedicate. So through that, first developing positive motivation and maintaining the positive motivation throughout your day, and then dedicating all the virtues for others, and that becomes really basic, main, or we can say main important practice to training our mind, and also to really wanting to do well in meditation practice is essential for us. And of course, the motivation that we have learned here, please remember, within our motivation, we touch on precious human life. Please remember that. We touch on impermanent. We touch on karma and its result, which another term is a cause and effect. We also touch on the nature of samsara, nature of this world in general and particular both. Please remember that. And those meaning has to be really developed within our mind. And then also please develop, touch on the compassion, great loving kindness, extraordinary compassion, and then bodhicitta, enlightenment mind. So we must try to really develop that, please, because many of the times many of the times I myself ended up really developing many times mistaken mind, wrong mind, and using them and relying on them. Many times I relied on wrong mind and giving me a lot of wrong, instructions. A lot of wrong instructions I received from, the wrong mind that I really developed within my mind. One of the most powerful wrong mind is anger. Anger is one of the most powerful mind that I developed in my mind. And many times I listened. Many times I say out of that. Many times I act physically out of that. So every action that starting from the mind itself transform into negative just by developing anger within my mind, no matter what. My mind is fully controlled by anger, and anger's nature is harmful. One of the main nature of anger is harmful, hurting, harmful. My mind fully receiving harm by developing anger within it. So, and then the way anger views things about myself, about the situation, about you, is completely not just mistake, completely wrong. It has a completely exaggeration within it. It's all views about the bad qualities about the situation, which is not there. But anger views it, anger projects it over it. Also about the person, same. There is no such a bad qualities that exist within person whom I am developing anger towards, him or her. He may be not possessing that type of bad quality at all, but my anger completely projects those bad qualities over that person and view and very believe that he or she possessed this negative or wrong qualities, very intensively. So that's why I see here, this type of mind, this type of deluded mind, this type of wrong mind that I as a person developed in general and end up relying on it, end up acting that becomes very negative and really negative and mistaken too. So that's why when we talk about developing positive motivation is really going the positive motivation, the mind that feels kind, positive towards myself, kind and positive towards every other sentient beings, and kind and positive towards every situation that is happening in this world. And that will stop really having those deluded wrong mind. And more I rely on those kind and positive mind, it brings, it brings more positive activities within my mind, within my speech, within my physical actions. So that becomes positive. So that's why I see when we ask you to really develop a positive motivation, it also means another benefit of that is really, we can say, is purifying those wrong mind that I used to develop. Purifying it. And another term is stop developing those wrong mind that I used to develop within my mind. So please, you can look at that. One of the example that I just shared with you is the anger. So one of the example is also not seeing that experience that I experience, the result that I experience, not seeing their result of cause. Things that happen in my life, I experience this and this and this and this, and I don't see that effect that I'm experiencing a result of the cause. I'm not accepting in that way. I'm not really accepting these effect or these results that I'm experiencing are a result of cause that I have been involved. And I think that maybe this experience because of him, because of her, maybe because of them, because of others. Our mind very easily goes outside, or the external. Another word is like going to easily to go to outside and maybe blaming on him or her or them on that situation. This situation caused me to have this, like that. Not really accepting it is really arises from the cause that I have been involved in. So here, that's why one of the really main meaning in the process of developing motivation is to really having a mind that understands or accepts this result that I go through in my day-to-day life are result of the cause, a result of karma that I have accumulated in the past. See, that is another wrong type of mind that we try to purify and try to really develop others in the correct side of the aspect. Same as with the impermanent. Remember, I mentioned to you many times in here our Tuesday class. So impermanent is one of the concepts that we must see it, we must really view, we must really develop. The mind that sees I myself as impermanent, the mind that sees my experience as impermanent, the mind that sees everything that is happening within my life at this time are impermanent. But at the same time, but in general, I'm not really having that mind that receiving myself as impermanent. I'm viewing myself as permanent actually, not impermanent. I'm even I don't say that, but in internal level, as I always mention to you, that in very actual level, very deep level, I'm viewing myself as a permanent. And that needs to reduce as much as I can. That's why I always encourage you to really develop a mind that sees as impermanent as a part of your motivation. Please. So anyways, I won't say more than that today. So these are the points that I ask you to touch in the process of developing positive motivation in your mind. And also please remember, remembering using those aspects that you have developed within the process of developing motivation, to use those aspects in your daily actions. Some of the actions you need to think about being impermanent. Some of the situations you do need to think about they are a result of karma. Some of the situations you do need to think about they are the nature of samsara. So it makes our mind ease to move on with it. Please. Anyway, so I will stop on our first topic here, and I will move on with our second part here, which is sharing things about open subject matter. So if you have any thoughts based on what we learned last weeks, past weeks, or if you have any other thoughts based on your own experience. Do you? Yes.
So at a workplace, if somebody doesn't treat you nice, is that because of karma? I
Okay.
owe this person from previous life? How do you view this?
Here, let's see here. Treating others nicely. That is it. Treating others not nicely. Right? By, let's say, I treat you, or I treat him, I treat her nicely. Or another way, opposite of that is, or I treat him, or I treat her. This, not nicely. Yes, that is there. Here, look at it here now. I will try to make the relationship with the last topic that last Tuesday when we learned 10 non-virtues. Right? 10 non-virtues that I counted to you to remember, and to remember those 10 non-virtues. and try to abandon them. Here, look at here. When we lie to someone, let's say, lying to someone, is it considered as a treating nicely to others or not nicely to others? This is one thing. This is like verbal action. Verbal action. When I develop, now let's go inside our mind. When I develop anger to you or to him or to, is my mind is treating him or her nicely or not? It's not. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about based on awareness of him. Maybe he don't know that I'm being angry with him or her, but I myself within my mind, I'm having really feeling of anger towards him. But in that nature of that mind is what? Since it is anger, it is one of the 10 non-virtues, which is, the mind that wish to harm. The mind that wish to harm you, which is happening within my mind because I'm having really angry. Anger. So this is also it's a really mentally I'm not treating him or her nicely. Mentally I'm not treating him nicely.
You're talking about the victim?
I'm talking about action. That action which I just created within my mind by developing anger towards that person's, that action in the nature, the nature of that action is not treating anybody nicely. When I develop anger towards anyone, see that's why I'm saying it. See, when I develop anger in my mind to you, my mind is not treating you nicely. I'm not talking about the physical thing. I'm not talking about the verbal thing. I'm talking about the mind. How my mind. When I develop, no matter what, when I have some compassion to you, when I feel compassion to you, whether I'm doing something physically to help you, whether I'm doing verbally to help you, it's not an issue. But just think about. I'm not talking about it. Just see mental. My mind is respecting you, treating nice to you. See, this is the nature of that action is that. Compassion is in the nature of treating everyone just nicely. The anger is in the nature of not treating anybody nicely. It's there. So here comes, when I develop anger towards others, mentally I created negative action, number one. And that when we speaking about the nature of that negative action, speaking about the negative nature of that negative action, very clearly, someone from the others, it has the nature of receiving, treating from others not nicely. It creates the karma not to receive kind action from the others. So here, coming back to your question here, when someone treated me not nicely, when someone not treat us nicely, it is also negative result of the negative action that I have created in the past. This is called karma. And let's see, the karma also, I know, the karma is also very much related with the circling.
All the time?
Yes, karma is really related with the circling.
But in this present time, I can nothing.
No, it doesn't matter because
Right.
the karma is not based on just this present life. Let's think about, first taking example. Look at one example, one karma of lying. Let's see. Some people, the lying is one of the common negative action that people created within samsara. So now think about the result of the negative action of lying here. There are many negative results just from one lying. I can experience the number one result of that action of that is I will experience someone going to do the same. I will experience that same as how I did towards others. Not only that, also even as a nature of the karma, when I experience the result in the future as a result of the karma, even sometimes when I tell something that is true, people have difficulty of believing it. That is also result of life. You can remember there are some people who even they tell the truth, but if people have a hard time to believing in it.
So you're saying don't tell the truth, or don't say anything?
I'm saying don't lie.
Don't lie. Okay, I think I'm confused. All right.
What I'm saying is,
But some people don't like when people say the truth.
that's not the point here. I'm talking
Oh,
about.
you're talking about, all
I'm
right,
talking
sorry.
about the result of the lying,
Okay.
how we experience, how many types of result we experience, as a result of action of lying.
Okay.
So Rinpoche, with the motivation of not wanting to harm somebody, if you tell them a lie to protect them,
See what I mean?
if you tell them a lie to protect them, how do you do it?
Here, every action, every negative action of these 10 non-rudras become complete negative action only when it comes with the 4 conditions. So one is the motivation. And the second thing is a delusion within it. If I just directly say, there's a Tibetan different word, but I think it's easier for us to look at it as a delusion. And then third is actual action.
Actually what?
Actual action. And then the fourth one is the completion. Example now, let's go with the lying that we, among this, since we are talking already about that here. The motivation is, I am really motivated to lie on him or that. So this is the number one. Oh. And the number 2 is the delusion. Delusion is anger or a desire, attachment or hate. That's the second condition. And a third condition in that here is actually performing actual action, which is now really I'm lying now. See? Now I'm saying this and that, and that's actual lying. And you believe it. And I'm happy. See, they're here in my mind feeling happy because I see you believe and my lying. So basically you are here. So these 4 actions, these 4 conditions, these 4 conditions completes accumulation of lying. Completes action of accumulation of negative karma of lying. Sometimes people have no delusions. If I'm missing delusions within it, yes, it may be part of, it may become the negative action in some part, but it will still not become complete negative action of lying. Example, there's just like what, remember the last few weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I was sharing with you, there was a one, some people take one of this, some people took action of one of these 10 non-rujus out of compassion. Out of compassion. And then it will not become complete action of one of these 10 non-rujus. So here, every negative action of killing or stealing, sometimes I may have a motivation of stealing, I develop it. Oh, I wish I would steal it. I'm going to go and steal this and this and this. Then, before I really do it, I may change my mind. I say, oh, it's not good. I should not do it. So I change my mind. So here comes, see, I did not complete accumulating action of stealing. Because yes, I did develop motivation in my mind of doing it, but then I realized it is wrong and I stopped doing it. So yes, just developing motivation of stealing, yes, I do accumulate, negative action in general, but it did not become negative action of stealing, because it's not complete with these four conditions. So you go ahead and look at any negative action of this 10 non-virtue as well as others, see, do I really have the motivation of doing it? Did delusions involve in it or not? Delusions. It has to have a delusion. Sometimes people have, just like what you're pointing out, some people, I may have to lie to save him from big troubles. My motivation is to, of course I have a motivation of lying in my mind, but it is not involved with the delusions. It is involved with compassion, because I want to save him from this problem and that problem, don't do it.
So then it's okay.
That is okay. If you are really sure that you are really having that type of, you are not having delusions involved with that motivation. And so we say things to save. Remember at an early point I was telling you that killing story. Remember the story that we share here about the killing? There was according to the sutra that talk about that story, says one of the very previous life, the Buddha, and took the action of killing one person to save hundreds of other persons. So his mind is completely filled with the compassion to save him from committing negative action of killing hundreds of human beings. And also compassion to save those 100 persons from dying. So then, in that situation, out of that compassion, the previous life of Shakyamuni the Buddha did take action of killing that one person to save him from committing that negative action and save also hundreds of beings. See, the mind is fully controlled, covered by the compassion. So here, that's why I see motivation. Please remember this one now. Just for now, since we are talking about karma here, just think about the motivation. I use that term just as easy as in English, but Tibetan we have a different word, jowa, munshi, ju, and gunu, like that. But here, motivation, delusion, actual action, and completing action. Completing action has a little bit different according to the different non-virtues, but in general is lying. When I lie, when he or she is full with that, it's a completion action. Some of the action like a hurtful speech. Hurtful speech, whether you experience hurt or not, my mind is motivated to use hurtful speech, and my mind is completely out of anger, which is that shows the delusion is there. And then I go there and really use that term, use that very hurtful speech. I say it. I say you are like that. You are these two words. And I said it, and I come back and say I did it. Happy now. See, did it, feeling happy. That's the ending word. So ending, the completion. I'm happy now. I was able to say it in front of him with a lot of people. But that becomes complete negative action of hurtful speech. So please remember these four. And then remember the 10 non-virtues that I shared with you last week. And then see, when I lie, when I lie, am I really having all of these four conditions within that action? If I'm having those all four conditions, if I am having all of these four conditions, my action is really becoming complete. non-virtuous, complete negative action. That's why one of the meditators who taught about mind training practice, who taught about karma a lot, he said, if you have no choice, because we are living in samsara, sometimes we have no choice. Then it says, make sure that not 4 conditions are there. Try to make sure,
Wait, no choice in what?
sometimes we have no choice of,
In our reaction or?
no, sometimes in some negative things that we do in our life. Sometimes we have no choice, sometimes we involved with the situation. When I say this, they or he will get upset. When I say that, or they will get upset. So I have no options in the situation. Sometimes we get into that situation. So I may have to lie. So in here, what meditation teaches us, try to make sure that I am not performing those actions with completion, with completion of these 4 conditions. So means one of the action is missing. Or I'm not having delusion in my mind. I simply doesn't want him to get upset. I don't want him to really develop anger in his mind. So, and then even I end of it, I'm not happy about it. I'm not really saying, oh, I did it, I'm so happy. This makes our negative, even general negative actions weaker, not powerful, not complete. So through that, we can avoid accumulating complete negative, any of these 10 non-virtues. Any of the 10 non-virtues. So here, going back to again early point, really like to show you that here, there are so many karmas within my mind now are not really accumulated in this present life, according to mind training teachings. Think about it. See, this present life that I have took rebirth as a human, took a birth as a human, there are many causes within my mind carried from our past. If only I'm experiencing the result of this present karma, that is not going to work. If I'm only dealing with, if I'm only experiencing the result of the karma of this present life, and that is, then it is not going to correct. It's not going to, it's not going to be correct, because there are many karma that I experienced when I was 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. It has to relate it with the karma that we have accumulated in the past. So that's why in this present life, now, we can able to purify many of those any of those negative karma that we have accumulated in the past.
How? By doing the good deeds?
Okay, I will talk about that. Did you have something, karma?
Just quickly, I have something I wanted to ask you for a while, Rinpoche. John Lennon, a famous singer from the Beatles, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He has a song called Instant Karma. Instant Karma. So is that something that's a reality? Like, can we do something today and we're going to experience the result in the evening or maybe tomorrow, or that just...
Yeah.
Oh, it does happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that has to be very, very powerful. According to how karma is ripening, it has to be really, really, really powerful. Okay, so coming back to your point here. Karma is negative action. In general, karma, there are negative karma, there are positive karma. But every negative karma that we have accumulated in the past, number one, they can be purified. Yes. And how to purify them, how to really purify them is, let's talk about, to purify them, there are a number of different practices, a number of different mind training practices teaches us to purify our negative karma. And the most powerful and the most common purification practice to purify our negative karma is called Nimbo Top Shi. Nimbo is antidote, and Top is power, and Shi is a force. four power, how do you say that? Four, maybe the four antidote power, basically means antidote and power and four. So these four, right? And let's say let's go one by one. This is very important too. The first power here is called Tenkito, which is the power of object. The power of the object. And now here, what is the object, or who are the object of the power? And then here is, in the based on mind training teachings, says that there are two objects, two beings, two group of beings. Number one is others, means you, everyone. Everyone, every sentient beings. And number two is enlightened beings, who are not in samsara, like full enlightened beings. Beings like you and I, when we obtain full enlightenment, we become the full enlightenment beings. So we are, at that time, we will be included in that category. So basically here, the sentient beings, that includes every human beings, every animal, even the smallest insect, smallest sentient beings, like some of these tiny beings which are not really even visible. They're all included within the sentient beings. They are the first object. And then second one is enlightened beings. To have into our mind, number here, to have into our mind is object. Why? Because most of our negative actions, negative karma that I have accumulated in the past are related with other sentient beings. Here, example, when I lie others. I accumulate, when I fool others. When I cheat others. When I kill others. Right? When I use the hurtful speech, I use it toward others. When I divide people who are really friends, like when I get into action of dividing the friends, that's also I do it towards others. When I feel hate, it's towards others. When I feel jealousy, it's towards others. See, look at every negative action, almost all the negative action that we have accumulated, it is based on other sentient beings. So that's why I see now my negative action that I have in my mind are using you as an object I have accumulated. So that's
What
why.
if somebody does this without the intention?
Without intention, then all the negatives karmas are smaller.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I was always telling you, try to really develop positive motivation in the beginning of your day and try to maintain your positive motivation throughout your day. But sometimes we accidentally, we end up using some word that may hurt someone, but we don't have an intention to hurt him or her. So that will not become complete negative action of, negative action of hurting, because I don't have the intention to hurt him. I don't have the also anger. I don't have the delusion within me. So it means it's among those four conditions, some of them are missing. So it will not become complete negative action.
So maybe we could be overreacting to the negative karma we think we're getting as to maybe another person mistreating us.
I don't get it. What do you mean by that?
Maybe we are overreacting
Okay,
to a person, as Rosa said before, that is not treating us well.
sure.
So we have to take all that into consideration.
We have to take that as
Maybe we weren't so bad in the past, I guess, the karma.
in a karma again. As long as we are living in this samsaric world, everybody, we all are same having a negative karma of developing anger. Then I have a karma that accumulated by developing anger, as well as every other sentient beings in the samsara. No difference. I have a karma of lying to others that I accumulated in the past in my mind, certainly. In the samsara, since I have delusions within my mind, we have the karma in our mind. The only difference is which karma is ripening now in my life which karma is ripening in your life right now. That's the difference. But actually possessing the negative karma within our mind at this time, every samsaric beings are insane. At this time, maybe I'm experiencing result of some positive karma, and while you are experiencing some other positive karma. So what is ripening, what karma is ripening within our life is different because of how I help my karma to ripe, which karma to ripe. But it's not saying that I don't have that type of karma, you don't have that type of karma. I don't have the karma relating with anger. You don't have a karma relating with hate. No, not like that. We all have it at this time. And so we are in the process of purifying them. And a good thing, very, very good thing is we see that now. And our mind is moving towards, towards seeing the result that I'm experiencing, at least a result of cause. Whether I say karma or not, I see is a result of the cause. And also I see cause has to do with myself. Otherwise, it's not going to write in me. So I think, and as you were pointing, if someone treating us this in this way, this is happening in my life, that is happening in their life, it's here. How it become bad or how it become really strong and mean is up to how I respond. Really. If I really try to not to respond to that situation with a negative state of mind, my mind will not feel, my mind will not going to feel, very heavy. My mind will also may not be able to feel hurt at all if I really respond with a positive state of mind. So if I can able to, look at the life stories of great beings, great meditators, such as life stories of the Buddhas too. There are beings who did not like his performing action of that, and then there are some people who have a negative reaction towards him, but the Buddha never responds with a negative state of mind at all. Always make sure he responds with the situation out of compassion, and then it becomes what that action is not going to make any difficulties within his mind. Look at if you and myself in the same situation, if we are experiencing the same situation, we all are going to have a different level of difficulties within our mind. That comes from where? How my mind responds to that situation. If you respond with that situation with accepting mind, you will feel much more lighter. If I respond to that situation with a negative state of mind, such as anger, I will feel very difficulties within my mind. I will say, if I say, how dare you can say this to me? And you will say, it's okay. Means what? It becomes much more different. I'm rejecting it. My mind is rejecting it out of anger, out of not accepting it. And you are saying it's okay. You are accepting it. You are not rejecting it. And you are feeling positive in that nature. So it becomes easy in your mind. Outside situation remains there. It's not in your control. It's not in my control. It's not in anybody's control. It's just happening. And I also always give you a lot of different examples based on also nature, not on the others also. Remember, there's something is happening in this country, in this land where I am, in terms of the weather, in terms of this in the system and that system. What makes difficulties within my mind is mainly how I respond. If I fully respond to that situation with a negative state of mind, I will experience difficulties within mind. Even if it is the slightest or small situation. Sometimes I drop my glass. That's not a big thing. It can happen. But if I respond very negative, very anger, how dare this glass or this cup will fall? If I respond to very negative state of mind, I will be really experiencing difficulties within my mind. But the actual thing is just one glass was dropped. It's not a big thing. You can buy a new one. You can clean that easily. It happens. there's all these, reason if you bring it into your mind, and your mind will be fine with taking that, happening that. So anyway, so going back to again what we were spoken, the purification practice. See the object, every other sentient beings, and then also fully enlightened beings. Because there are many good instructions that I have received in this life, based on the instructions, to talk about how important not to develop anger, how important not to do it. And I have some in my life, maybe not in everyone, but in my life I really agree. Sometimes I have made some promise based on instruction that I received from the teachings. But sometimes accidentally I may have broke this commitment. I may have broke some promise. Sometimes maybe knowingly, maybe I have broke it. So those all happens based on instructions that was given by enlightened beings. So those negative actions also needs to be purified. So the object to keep into our mind to feel basically respect is every sentient beings and every enlightened beings. So that's the number one. Here, if I keep them as an object of respect, so what I'm improving in within my mind, saying they're not object of disrespect. They're not object of my anger. They're not object of delusion. They're not object of hate. So I mean, I should not really have anger and all other negative state of mind towards them. That becomes one of the powerful practice to purify our negative actions. So that's called power of the object. Thank you, Top. Thank you, Top. And second one is means, then it says that the power of uprooting. Nimbo is the antidote. Basically the power of antidote. Now this is the second one. Here is, so question comes here, what is it? And the answer is that feeling regret in negative action that I have performed after realizing that. So, example, yesterday I've done terrible things to my friend, let's say. I did not recognize it as a terrible thing, but today when I think about, wow, that is a really mean action that I have done. So I realize, now today I realize it. And out of that realization, then should I feel happy about it? No. What should I feel? I should feel sorry. It's inside. I should really feel regret, sorry towards the negative action that I have done yesterday towards my friend. Same thing like that, negative action of body, negative action of speech, negative action of mind based on 10 non-virtues which I have done based on these 10 non-virtues in earlier of this life or my past lives. There are a lot of indication that I see that I have done many of those 10 non-virtues. So now here I'm very happy. One thing is that I'm realizing now. I'm recognizing that. I'm accepting that I have done it. And I'm not happy and I feel very, very sorry. I have hurt many sentient beings by killing. I have hurt many sentient beings by lying. I have hurt many others. So all of those negative actions, we bring it into our mind and let my mind to see it, feel it, and feel sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely feeling regret that I should have not done all of this. So then that's called regret. Most powerful. And that is the most important among all of our purification practice. If I have no feeling of regret, if I have no feeling of sorry about a negative action that I have done, then there is no other method can be able to purify my negative actions. I must have a feeling of sorry. It's very important. if I can say it to others, but it has to be really said from inside, not just from our mouth. So that's a second power. The third power is a power of promising. Promising. What I have realized now, I have done this and this, and I feel really good. Now what should I do? I should make a promise, saying that I will try my best. I will try my best to not to do any of these 10 non-virtues. I will try my best to not to lie. I will try my best to not to cheat. I will try my best to not to kill. I will try my best not to hurt. That is third power, promising. You want to say something?
Yes. What if you have a choice between self-preservation? If, for example, if someone wants to do you bodily harm, how do you deal with the situation of protecting oneself while losing yourself into that moment, being angry, or protecting yourself from an individual?
Yes, this is also one of the common situation that everybody experience. Absolutely, if I'm seeing the situation that I'm going to get harmed, and in that kind of situation, definitely we do need to take action of protecting myself, because seeing the importance of this present life that I have now to do something good for for the many beings. So in that case, yes, we must protect. And then, yes, if in that situation, I may lose my temper, as you're pointing. It's also very common. But I will say, in our mind training practice, in our daily mind training practices become so important now, knowing that situation. If I do my daily mind training practices, and that gives me strength to control my mind, that gives us also strength to remember, strength to have awareness of what is happening. So if someone who have never engaged into training mind practice and may not have that strength to, may not have that space to bring awareness to help their mind at that moment. So he or she may not able to, as you are pointing it, may not able to really control their mind from developing anger, getting anger in that situation. So so that's why I know we say that here in our daily life, to keep our mind healthy for all the time, it's really important to have a daily mind training practice. Remember when we say, I share with you that, see, we wanted to keep our body healthy, and so we do what? You eat something that is healthy for every day, do some exercise every day to maintain our body healthy. So it prevents having any sickness within our body. Same, to keep our mind healthy, to have some daily mind training practice. It's nothing to do, again, it's also not about really religion too. It's just part of your mind keeping healthy. It's not necessary to getting involved with any religions too. It's not necessary. The mind training practice can be done by anybody. You and I all possess mind. You and I all have a problems within our mind. It's a common. It's got nothing to do with, again, religion too. I have anger just because I'm a samsaric being. You have that, no difference. And I can train my mind, you can train your mind. You can train your mind, I can train my mind too. We have both same abilities. So some people do very well. Some meditators do very well in that kind of situation. Losing everything, but they can still keep their mind calm. Why? Because of their mind training practices really protect them. Some Could not because of that. So that's why what I will say to you is, as we are now having full freedom at this time, full opportunity at this time, it is crucial for us to really have at least some daily meditation practice, daily mind training practice. Let's put it that way, mind training. You train your mind to become more flexible. Just like you do yoga to make your body flexible. Do your mind training practice to make your mind flexible, that your mind is not really stuck there. Your mind is not really like your body, some people's bodies they're really not able to bend well. You would call what?
Flexible.
No.
Narrow-minded.
No. I'm saying there's some people whose body is very
Stiff.
Stiff, yeah, stiff.
Yeah.
So our mind in general is stiff. Like now we need to do mind yoga practice, not a physical yoga practice, mind yoga practice to make our mind more flexible, free from stiff. And so in this case, whatever happens, but also has to do with understanding, not by forcing, not by just breathing through. Again, it will not work. If I just try to do mind training practice just by focusing on the breathing, that will also not going to work. We need something that makes my mind aware, with meaning, with the fact. With the fact. We need to know, we need to have a very clear answer within our mind based on why this is happening, what is this, why this. These are all questions that we all have, and get those answered. Just like the way we are learning now, that one of the biggest answer is impermanent, and a karma, and the nature of samsara, and also compassion, and the loving kindness are the answer. The wisdom are the answer. Understanding is the answers. And these answers must gain something within our mind, and then we can make our mind very flexible. Oh, this is there, don't worry. This is there, don't worry. See, our mind can move on just like I'm a very skillful driver. I can squeeze into, every crowded situation. Like that. I would say, please, you are right. Sometimes, as we came into a situation that trying to protect myself, then we lose our temper, and then we become very negative. You can. That's also common. It's not unusual for us. It's a common for us. But we cannot leave it as saying it's a common. We need to take care of it, and by taking care of that is to having a daily mind training practice to protect our mind. Okay. Okay. Now coming back to where we are, then I want to continue with the 4 powers. Then you have that, and then you can try with it. So, third practice is what? Promising. First, object. Every other sentient being and every. Second is feeling regret and sorry. And third is a promising. I will try my best not to do it. And the fourth one is engaging into any virtuous activities.
Any what?
Any virtuous activities, positive activities.
Engage in positive.
Yeah, engaging in any positive activities such as meditating, training your mind, helping somebody. That's the fourth power. So now here, if I help somebody, now let's see, if I help somebody based on first 3 power, my helping somebody is purification practice, which means it is going to purify my negative karma that I have in my mind. Certainly. How much is going to purify is depending on how strong I have faith and respect towards other sentient beings, how strong regret and sorry I feel, how deep promising I have made, how true my promising is, another word is, and depending on that, based on that, every virtues, every positive action that I perform in my daily life becomes purification practice. So here, please, now, come back here to look at that. Our daily practice, from the beginning, our daily activities, from the we get up in the morning till we go to bed, can become purification practice. Can. I'm not saying cannot, I'm saying they all can become. Getting up in the morning, generating motivation in my mind, and then engaging in any other my daily activities. Till I go to bed. Even my sleeping, action of sleeping can become, they all can become purification practice. How? If I have sincere respect to every sentient beings and enlightenment beings, if I feel sorry or regret about my negative action that I perform, harming and hurting and not listening the instructions, harming others, if I feel regret sincerely, if I have the promise, trying not to do them again and again, and then every my daily activities can become purification practice. So here, it's not a big difficulty, right? It's not that difficult, but we have to know, something we have to keep it in our life, in our mind, and something that continually, which is respecting them. Don't let my mind get negative towards others, disrespecting towards others. I respect everyone. And one of the most powerful respecting others is have a compassion in your mind towards others. That's the most, that's one of the greatest way of respecting others is developing compassion towards other sentient beings.
So
Yes.
what if,
Okay.
so back to the person who might be going after you. How do you handle somebody, maybe a work situation, who's just going out of their way to make you miserable? Make you look bad?
I can't answer. I had a Buddhist that I know, that whenever she encounters someone who treated not nice, she always go out of the way to buy them something. It's like pay them back. She says, I owe them from the previous lifetime. So she always go out of the way to buy them something or do something extra for that person. Is that a true practice? Right practice?
I didn't get it. What do you mean?
For example, someone doesn't treat you right.
Okay.
So I know this Buddhist person, that she always goes out of the way to, if she's being treated not nice to the other person, she will buy them coffee or buy them something or buy them bracelet or buy, because she said, I owe them something from past life, so I'm paying back.
Oh,
Is it the right practice?
you can do that.
But it's not real, it's not,
No, I think it's here.
it's not
Thinking is
sincere.
that I owe you from my past life, so I'm paying you back now.
You can do that, but I think the most important is accepting from your own mind. Accepting in my mind as this as a result of past karma. It's the more important at this.
And then you just walk away from it?
It's up to you, and it's up to the situation too. Sometimes maybe you don't have to. If it is, maybe it's too hard, maybe then walk away.
But don't get angry.
Sometimes here, let me tell you, this great meditator that we were learning his teaching called Atisha. He's an Indian master, great master in India, and traveled to Tibet and spent his 17 years in Tibet and passed away in Tibet. He had a number of disciples, in every way in India and every way in Tibet. But there's one of the disciples called Asara, who always make troubles between the communities. He always give Atisha a hard time. He's Atisha's disciple. And he always give hard time for him. And other students didn't like his action, that he always say things that seems like disrespecting I'm not saying it's actually disrespecting. It appears like disrespecting. And other students say, he's another trouble, he's here. And there's a gathering, he was there, and then finally, group of students went to see Atisha and says, maybe you should not let him come. You should not let him come. Means like you shouldn't face him into that. So they strongly suggesting him to take away from the group, from the communities. And Atisha said, don't do that. He is my object of my practicing patience. And remember, Atisha said, don't do that. I want him to be in the group because he helped me to improve my patience. I'm having him in the group that I practice patience now.
If you don't get an ulcer.
So he does, so now this is what I'm saying here. Some people can bear it, like Atisha can bear it. He is making troubles in the communities. Other people get, disturbed. So, but Atisha says, fine. It's good. The situation seems difficulties in some, maybe, but I take it as a situation to practice patience. Right? So look at now in your situation, so sometimes you walk away or deal with it. It's really, I would say the most important thing is see how much I can handle the situation with a positive state of mind. How much I can listen with this situation or this talk with my positive state of mind. Sometimes maybe it's very difficult. Maybe I have to. It's nothing wrong. If my capacity is not that much, I can take more. So maybe I walk away. Sometimes I listen in one side, if you can. Listen in one side and throw it on one side. So don't really hold it in my mind. Just like breathe in and breathe out. Just like let it here and let it go. It's just a word. I'm not that type of person. What's the matter? I'm just listening and let him say it. I will let it go that way. So it's okay now. What is the big deal? I'm who I am. There are so much, they're everywhere in the world here like this. Not only me. They are the king. They are great beings who also receive criticism from, mistreat from the others. And they listen it, they let it happen, they let it go. Then why not me? I can do that too. So maybe you can do that. It's just like I'm hearing sound and it's just going one other direction. Not letting my mind to hold. If I hold it, then my can become not pleasant. So I will say again, let it come, let it go. And most important, no matter what happening, I'm not letting my mind to fall into negative side. That's a crucial point. Crucial point.
On the other hand, the good karma, if you did something good in another life,
Look at here.
would a person who overreacts to something you did in a good way, maybe think of whatever you did in the past life for them? You're saying everyone we meet, we've had an experience with in another life.
Have it.
So could it be a reverse too?
That's why I say within the samsara, karma,
A good, something I did or something, you do, and the person is like, you didn't think you did anything, and the person is like, oh my,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Sure.
It could be from another life.
Absolutely.
that-
Absolutely. Look at now what is happening in our life now here. We are having the most, valuable things that we are learning each other, sharing each other, learning. We are learning and sharing each other. It's something that we have done in the past to get it, and we are getting now. And we are, not only that, we are putting effort to put into our mind more and more. And certainly we have done, good actions in the past to meet and experience. And that's why, many great teachers mentions saying, taught us that, by saying that, it is like, see, we have worked hard in the past. I may not know at this point. We have worked hard in the past because of, look at how we are now. Our birth as a human, not trying to make proud of ourselves, but look at this birth that we have now. It's one of the most finest birth in the samsara. Look at this just present how many human beings there are. But compare with, not negatively, just to make understanding, compare our birth with so many human beings in this earth. Talking about their day-to-day experience and difficulties. There are more human beings in this world are experiencing poverty. But we are not kind of that. We have so much facilities in our life. So many good conditions. These are all hard work of our past actions happening it. And that's why meditators always encourage us to not to misuse, not to waste. Because they are all a result of, remember I shared with you a long time ago, there's one great meditators. And his eye, when he became very old, he became blind. But then one of his students also, he had a number of students, good students. Then one of his students became very well known in Eastern Tibet by teaching so much. And then one of their students offered him, or however, they offered him one dress that is made out of bouquet. And he was wearing it and looked very fancy. And then he went to see his teacher who's very senior and could not able to have the visual, eye visual. And when he see him, then they meet, and then he hold his back, and he feel okay, and he asked, "What are you wearing now?" He said, "I'm wearing this and this." And then he told, "Please, it is not a time to waste your merit. It is time to accumulate more merit." This response that he received from his teacher, that's just like, see, now we have so much facilities that a lot of, forget about other sentient beings, a lot of human beings does not have in this planet whom we are sharing this planet together now. We are sharing this same planet together, but what we have, they don't have it. They don't have that. And these are all hard work. We're not making, I'm not saying to feel proud of it, but we just recognize that it is our previous hard work result we are having this. And this is we call freedom. This is we call endowment we have now. The external condition is beautiful we have. Internal condition is also wonderful. We have so much good things inside our mind. We want to do good. We don't want to do bad. We don't want to do bad things. That's also good result from our past. So here says now, take it. Take what? Use every moment in your life to use those to have more merit, more virtues, less negative, less delusion. And this opportunity we have now, if I use the term, like a perfect opportunity to transform our mind into positive from the negative state. There will be no, according to the sutra, you can also imagine yourself too. This present birth that we have now is a perfect condition, perfect basis to be able to turn our mind into positive. To be able to turn our mind into compassion, wisdom. Because situation that is happening is to give us big, good balance within our life. if we are experiencing true sufferings, too much suffering, we cannot able to have this kind of mind to be able to do. If we having so much luxury things, true luxury things, we will not going to have this kind of opportunity. So we have sufferings. We also have good things and happiness in our life. So these are, we see what is like this, what is like this, and give us a perfect opportunity to now can transform our mind. I don't rely on, I'm not attached with this happening. I also not hate with this suffering and that suffering. I know it is a result of karma. I know this is a result of karma, and it is not permanent. This is not permanent. I know this is a part of the nature of our samsaric life. Now this gives me to really turn my mind into positive state, wisdom, freeing my mind from delusion, anger, and all of that. And that's so here, no question, hard work that I have done by our past, because of what I have, what we have now. What we have now is not just given us, happened automatically. It happened from the karma. It happened from the cause. Thank you. So we'll continue next week. Now we move to our meditating chapter. So please first keep your body in a comfortable position. Let your body relax, let your mind relax, and let all thoughts, stress, tension go away. And now breathing into your mind as an object. Just breathe like normal. And your mind is focusing on breathing in and breathing out gently. So now from this neutral state of mind, you can think about, first, let's think about, or let's meditate on this full power that we learned today. First, power of the object. every mother sentient being. Everyone, every human being, every animal, every sentient being who possess the mind like myself, wish to be happy, wish to be free from sufferings, everyone, every sentient being. Today, I am having them in my mind as an object only to respect. Since beginning lesson time till today, I have done many negative actions towards them. I have developed many delusions towards them. So I have accumulated many negative karmas using them as an object. To purify those negative actions, I must have them as an object of respect, because I have accumulated those negative actions using them as an object of disrespecting. And all other holy beings, all other full-like beings such as Buddhas. So basically, I am now clearly seeing that importance of respecting every being. So please assume that we have developed respect towards every being. And now think about the negative action of body, speech, and mind that I have accumulated in the past based on 10 non-rituals. In general, any negative action of harming or hurting others that I have done in the past is terrible. Just like if someone engaged into action of harming me, how I am going to feel about it. And there are two, same like me, who wish to be happy, who wish to be free from sufferings. You feel same. From realizing this, from this realization, I really feel sorry. I really feel regret. In those actions of harming and hurting others. I really feel that. Out of experience or feeling of regret, or out of feeling of sorry, now I engage into promising. I will try my best to not to do those negative actions based on 10 non-virtues again. I will try my best to not to harm, hurt any beings. So here now, based on the feeling of respecting every being, feeling of regret and sorry in negative actions, and promising my best, trying not to do them again. Out of these three powers, here I will engage into only positive action. Physically, verbally, especially mentally, I will only going to engage into positive action. Please develop the determination that really make statement saying, I will only engage into positive action out of these three powers. Now, out of this determination, you can slowly rise up from this meditation practice. Sprinkle
Spread the clouds, great mountain, four lands, sun, and moon. Feed as a Buddha lamb, and offer it thus. May all beings enjoy this sacred land.
dedication, please.
By this virtue, may I quickly achieve the level of Buddha, and make every sentient being, without exception, to that enlightened state. May all sentient beings, who are like my fathers and fathers, enjoy happiness. May the lower realms always be empty, and the Buddhas dwell everywhere. May everyone their prayers be accomplished. May the precious supreme Bodhi mind dwell where it has not grown, where it has grown, may it not decrease, but flourish forevermore. Thank you.
It's end of April now. Thank you very much. Oh, Nancy was so much.